The ancient historians, such as the Roman historian Tacitus, regarded the land of Canaan, Judea, Palestine, and now the land that is modern Israel, as the northeasternmost extension of Africa. In Tacitus's own words, when giving the background on the famous city of Jerusalem and the origin of the Jews, he says the following: "The Jews are said to have been refugees from the island of Crete, who settled in the remotest corner of Libya in the days when, according to the story, Saturn was driven from his throne by the aggression of Jupiter." The last portion of that phrase is a poetic way of speaking about an astronomical occurrence as a timestamp of when an event happened, that being the settlement of the Jews in the remotest corner of Libya. Here, Tacitus plainly states that Judea is the remotest corner of Libya. Libya is the Greek term for the continent of Africa. The Greek historian and geographer Hecataeus of Miletus, born around 550 BC and dying around the year 476 BC, illustrates this fact in his map of the known world. Here's another map which shows that Palestine is the remotest northeastern extension of Africa. This is the world according to the idea of Herodotus, copied from Major Reynold, London, published 4th of June, 1819, by Robert Wilkinson.
We consider Israel to be northeast Africa. We are living here in the southern portion of Israel in what is known as the southern Judean mountains. And of course, we have to make this clear that Israel predates any Palestinian connections here to this land. When you look at the name of Palestine, it was the name that the Romans gave to the land formerly known as Judea. Now, I didn't say Jewish or Judaism, but Judea. So the Judeans were the people that actually lived in this portion of this land prior to it being named Palestine by the Romans. So this is what we consider to be Northeast Africa. We are sitting on the African tectonic plate. There are African species of birds and animals and plants that you'll find all throughout this region.
Why I took you here is that I want to show you that the country called Israel is sitting on the African tectonic plate. It's like all continents are sitting on a plate, okay? Mm-hmm. And these plates, sometimes they slide in, and they rub one another. And what happens, that's what happens when earthquakes happen. The plates begin to slide among one another. And if you get a crack in one of the plates, magma will come up, like a volcano. Mm-hmm. A magma will come up, and it will cause, great devastation because of the volcano, but it's because of the shifting of these tectonic plates.
Without question, we are in Northeast Africa. We are landlocked to Egypt, with the exception of the Suez Canal, which was a man-made ditch, a boundary now between, in fact, it's not even really a boundary anymore since Egypt has reclaimed the Sinai Peninsula. But nevertheless, even those of us who are Pan-Africanists in our thinking and Afrocentric, we forget and we leave off that portion of Northeast Africa and don't want to claim anything beyond that. Of course, Afrocentrists are still fighting tooth and nail for Egypt to be included as a part of Africa, because most Egyptologists and anthropologists, archaeologists of the Eurocentric persuasion will say that Egypt is in Africa. They had to concede that, but then they still draw the line by saying that they weren't Africans like that. In other words, they weren't dark-skinned people. And of course, this is all part of the Great Deception. And the reality is that if they give up Egypt, ancient Kemet, if they give that up and say that that was a part of black Africa, then they will also have to give up Israel. And that's why they draw the line at Egypt, because if they give up Egypt, they've got to give up Israel.
Now, we're going to go over here, and I'm going to show you where Israel sits on the African tectonic plate, which means that Israel is northeast Africa. Now, when we look at this map, this is the Sinai. Okay? This is the Red Sea. This is Egypt. This is the Sinai. This is Israel. All right? This is Saudi Arabia over here. Now, if you see this in Hebrew, it says Haluach Afrikani, the African plate. Here it is right here. Israel is sitting right here. Israel is sitting on the Haluach Afrikani, which means that Israel is northeast Africa.